I'm writing this from my laptop, wedged in my closet with the door barricaded by my desk and dresser. I can hear them outside my bedroom door. Their voices are so calm, so loving. But there are other sounds, too. And those are the sounds that are keeping me in here. It all started 3 months ago. My whole life has been a literal blur. I was born with astigmatism so bad the optometrist used to joke I saw the world in permanent soft focus. I couldn't find my glasses on the nightstand without first fumbling for them like a blind man. Contacts were a daily, irritating ritual. I was 24, had a decent job, and I'd finally saved up enough. LASIK was my ticket to a new life, a clear life. The consultation was sterile and reassuring. The doctor was a sharp, older man with an intense, almost predatory focus. He had this way of looking at you, like he was seeing more than just the surface of your eyes. He talked about refractive errors and corneal flaps, using a calm, authoritative tone that washed away any of my lingering anxieties. He mentioned a new, slightly experimental technique he was pioneering. He said it was more precise, offering a level of clarity that was unprecedented. He claimed it could correct for atmospheric distortions and even light-level fluctuations that standard procedures couldn't touch. I was sold. I wanted the best. I wanted to see everything. God, what a fool I was. The surgery itself was as bizarre and impersonal as you'd expect. The smell of antiseptic, the cold metal of the head brace, the Valium they gave me making my limbs feel like they belonged to someone else. I remember the pressure on my eyeball, the smell of burning that they tell you is just the laser, and the doctor's calm voice narrating the whole thing. A perfect flap. Now we're reshaping. Just a few more seconds. Then darkness, followed by the soft application of bandages and shields over my eyes. The recovery was the hardest part. 2 weeks of total darkness. I was completely dependent on my family. My mom, my dad, my younger sister. They were amazing. They led me around the house by the arm, made sure I didn't bump into anything. My mom would cook all my favorite meals, the smell of her stew or roasted chicken filling the house. She'd sit with me, spoon-feeding me so I wouldn't make a mess. Her voice was a constant, soothing presence. Just a little more, sweetie. You need to keep your strength up. My dad would read to me for hours. Sports pages, fantasy novels, anything to pass the time. His deep, rumbling voice was a comfort in the black void my world had become. My sister would change the music, put on podcasts, and just sit with me, her presence a silent reassurance. They were the perfect, loving family, and I was consumed with a profound sense of gratitude. I couldn't wait to see their faces again, really see them with my new, perfect eyes. The day the bandages came off was supposed to be a celebration. We all went to the clinic together. The nurse was gentle as she snipped the tape and slowly unwound the gauze. For a moment, with the bandages gone but my eyes still closed, I felt a tremor of pure, unadulterated excitement. "Okay," the nurse said softly. "Open them slowly. The light will be very bright at first." I did as she said. I squeezed my eyelids, then let them flutter open. The first thing I noticed was the sharpness. It was violent. Every single texture in the room leaped out at me. The microscopic pits in the acoustic tile ceiling. The individual fibers in the nurse's blue scrubs. The tiny, almost invisible cracks in the linoleum floor. It was overwhelming, a tidal wave of visual information that made my brain ache. The doctor had said it would be like this. Hypersensitivity. He said it would calm down. I blinked, trying to focus. The nurse was smiling at me. She looked normal. Just a woman in her 40s with kind eyes and a slightly tired smile. Then I turned to my family, and my world broke. It's hard to describe what I saw, because my mind refused to accept it for the first few seconds. It was like a cognitive blind spot, a visual glitch. My mom was smiling, her mouth moving, saying my name. But her face, it wasn't just her face. Fused to her jawline, wrapping up and around her left cheek, was something else. It was a pulsating sack of mottled, grayish-pink flesh, veined with sickly purple lines. Two thin, whip-like tendrils, no thicker than a worm, were coiled around her lower lip, and as she spoke, they twitched and adjusted, seeming to pull her lips into the shape of a smile. Her own skin seemed stretched and thin where it met this growth. I tore my eyes away, my heart hammering against my ribs, and looked at my dad. He was clapping me on the shoulder, his face beaming with pride. But from his chest, blooming out from under his collared shirt, was a larger, more complex structure. It was a fleshy, fungal-looking mass that seemed to have burrowed into his sternum. It was ribbed, almost like a grotesque seashell, and it glistened with a thin sheen of moisture. A thick, tube-like appendage snaked up from it, disappearing under his chin and into his mouth. He wasn't speaking. The sounds were coming from him, but the fleshy tube was vibrating with the words. I felt the bile rise in my throat. I looked at my sister. She was the worst. A shimmering, almost translucent thing was draped over her head and shoulders like a living shawl. It was featureless, save for a series of pulsating bladders that ran down her spine. Its tendrils were woven into her hair, and two larger, thicker ones were plugged directly into the corners of her mouth, stretching her lips into a permanent, placid grin. "What do you think?" my mom's voice cooed, but the thing on her face seemed to pulse in time with her words. "Can you see us clearly?" Couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. I just stared, my new, perfect eyes taking in every single horrifying detail. The way the things moved in symbiosis with them. The way their own bodies seemed almost secondary. "He's in shock," my dad's voice rumbled, the tube on his chest vibrating. "It's a lot to take in all at once." I must have passed out, or at least blacked out, because the next thing I remember is being in the car on the way home, my head against the cool glass of the window. I kept my eyes closed. I told them the light was just too much. My head was killing me. They were so understanding. They bought it completely. The next few weeks were a living nightmare. I pretended my eyes were still adjusting, that I had a constant migraine. I spent as much time as I could in my room, in the dark. But I couldn't hide forever. I had to eat. The first time my mom brought me a tray of food, I almost screamed. It was her famous beef stew, the one I had loved my whole life. The smell was the same, rich, savory, a little bit of rosemary. But what I saw on the plate was not stew. It was a bowl of thick, dark red, almost black, sludge. It moved. It pulsed with a slow, rhythmic beat, like a living organ. Floating in the gruel were small, white, maggot-like things, writhing slowly. "Eat up," she said, her voice warm, while the parasite on her cheek quivered with anticipation. "You need your strength." I stared at the bowl, then at her. I watched as one of the tendrils on her face dipped into the bowl, scooped up a dollop of the writhing sludge, and pushed it into her mouth. She chewed, swallowed, and smiled at me. I threw up in the bathroom for 20 minutes. I learned to cope. I take the food to my room, flush it down the toilet, and claim I'd eaten it. I lived on protein bars and bottled water I'd smuggled into my room and hidden. But the water, even the water, was wrong. When they poured me a glass from the tap, it wasn't clear. It was a viscous, faintly reddish liquid, like heavily diluted blood. Yet they drank it down like it was nothing. They'd pour a glass, and the things attached to them would dip their own spiny little appendages into the glass first, before letting their hosts drink. The scariest part was how normal everything else was. I'd sneak out of the house sometimes. I'd walk down the street, and everyone looked normal. The mailman, the kids playing in the park, the woman jogging with her dog. They were all just people. It was only my family. Was I going insane? Was this some kind of rare, localized hallucination brought on by the surgery? A stroke? A brain tumor? I started watching them, really watching them. I noticed that when they thought I wasn't looking, their movements became less human. My dad would sit in his armchair, and the fungal thing on his chest would periodically unfurl, revealing a dark, gaping orifice that would let out a low, guttural click. My sister would sometimes stand perfectly still for hours, staring at a wall, while the translucent thing on her back rippled and shimmered, as if communicating with something I couldn't see. Then I realized my family never actually chewed. Their jaws moved, but it was the appendages of the thing attached to them that did the work, shoving the pulsating gruel into their mouths, where it was absorbed, not swallowed. The isolation was crushing me. I was terrified of my own family. Their loving touches felt like the probing of an alien species. Their kind words were a horrifying mimicry. I had to get back to the doctor. He had to know what was happening. He had done this to me. He had to fix it. I made an appointment under the guise of a post-op checkup. My mom offered to drive me. I made an excuse about wanting to take the bus, to feel independent again. The look she gave me, it wasn't her look. Her eyes were placid, but the thing on her cheek pulsed once, slowly, a gesture of what felt like suspicion. The hospital was a beacon of normalcy. The receptionists, the patients in the waiting room, the other doctors, they were all human, unadorned. I felt a surge of relief so powerful it almost made me cry. I wasn't crazy. The world was normal. Something was just profoundly, existentially wrong inside my own home. When I got to the ophthalmology department, I asked for the doctor who had performed my surgery. The receptionist, a young woman who looked bored, tapped at her keyboard for a moment. "I'm sorry," she said without looking up. "He's no longer with the hospital." My blood ran cold. What? What do you mean? I just saw him a few weeks ago." "He resigned," she said, finally looking at me with a hint of annoyance. "Took an extended, indefinite leave of absence. We were told he left the country." "Left the country? Where did he go? Is there any way to contact him? It's an emergency." My voice was rising, laced with a panic I couldn't control. "Sir, I don't have that information. We can schedule you with another doctor if you're having an issue." An issue? That was a really big understatement of what happens with me. I stumbled back from the desk, my mind reeling. He was gone. My only link to what had happened, my only hope for a solution, had vanished. I was alone with this. I was about to leave, defeated, when an older nurse who was tidying up a pamphlet rack nearby caught my eye. She gave me a quick, almost imperceptible nod towards a nearby corridor. I hesitated, then followed her. She ducked into an empty exam room and held the door for me. "You were one of his," she whispered as a statement. Her eyes were full of a strange mixture of pity and fear. "The special clarity ones." I just nodded, unable to speak. "He left in a hurry," she said, her voice low and rushed. "Packed up his office overnight. Said he was going somewhere remote. He was always a strange man. Brilliant but strange. Talked about filters, veils." She looked over her shoulder, down the empty hall. "He left this with me. He said if anyone came back, anyone who saw things differently, I should give it to them." She pressed a small, folded piece of paper into my hand. It was a phone number, just 10 digits, written in a spidery, hurried script. "I don't know what it is," she said, already backing out of the room. "And you didn't get it from me. Good luck." She was gone before I could even thank her. I ran out of the hospital and didn't stop until I was at a payphone several blocks away. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely punch in the numbers. It rang once, twice, the third time. I was about to hang up when a voice answered. It was him. His voice was strained, crackly, like the connection was bad, but it was unmistakably the doctor. "Who is this?" he demanded, his tone sharp with paranoia. "It's me," I stammered, not even using my name. "The LASIK, a few weeks ago. The new procedure." There was a long silence on the other end of the line. I could hear the sound of wind, and something else, a faint, rhythmic clicking. "Ah," he finally said, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "So it worked." I wasn't sure. "The clarity. You're seeing it, aren't you?" "Seeing what?" I nearly screamed into the receiver. "What did you do to me? My family. There are things on them. Monsters." "Not monsters," he corrected, his voice tinged with a terrifying mix of academic curiosity and awe. "Passengers. Symbiotes. They've been with us for millennia, woven into our very fabric. We are just their cattle." I leaned against the grimy glass of the phone booth, my legs threatening to give out. "What are you talking about? I don't understand." "The human eye is a marvel," he began, launching into a lecture as if we were back in his sterile office. But it's not perfect. It evolved not just to see but also not to see. From the moment we are born, there is a biological filter in place, a complex series of photoreceptors and neural inhibitors that renders them invisible to us. It's a veil, a defense mechanism developed over thousands of years for their protection. If we could see them, we would fight them. Their survival depends on their secrecy. My mind was struggling to catch up, to process the sheer insanity of what he was saying. Them? Who are they? I don't know their name for themselves, he said, a note of frustration in his voice. Parasites is the closest word we have, but it's not quite right. It's a deeper bond than that. They nourish us. They protect us from certain illnesses. They keep their hosts docile, content. In return, they get to live. They experience the world through us. And the food, I whispered, thinking of the pulsating gruel. The water, their sustenance, not ours, he confirmed. A slurry of organic matter and their own larval forms, which they cultivate. They process it and pass the nutrients on to the human host. It's a perfectly efficient, closed system. As long as you can't see it. The pieces were slamming into place, forming a picture of such profound horror that I felt my sanity fraying at the edges. You did this on purpose. The surgery. It was a hypothesis, he snapped, his voice rising with a manic energy. I've spent my life studying the eye, its limitations. I saw anomalies, patterns that made no sense. I came to believe we weren't alone, that the truth was right in front of us, just filtered out. I theorized that I could bypass the filter. I could surgically remove the veil, but the real challenge is finding them. As it seems they do not live with all humans, I have doubted myself for so long. But you were my proof. You have to change it back. I pleaded, tears streaming down my face. I can't live like this. Please, you have to fix me. The line was silent for a moment, save for the wind and the strange clicking. When he spoke again, his voice was heavy with a terrible finality. I can't, he said softly. I don't know how. I only ever learned how to open the door. I never figured out how to close it. That's why I ran. They know about me. The ones who aren't bonded, the free-roaming ones. They can sense me. And now, they will sense you too. He paused. Listen to me very carefully. The ones attached to your family, they are realizing you can see them. Their primary directive is to protect the host and preserve the secret. They will see you as a flaw and they will try to fix you. Do not let them touch you. Do not eat or drink anything they give you. And for God's sake, do not let them near your eyes. The line went dead. I stood there for a long time, the dead receiver pressed to my ear. Fix me. The word echoed in the hollow space where my hope used to be. When I got home, the atmosphere had changed. The pretense of normalcy was gone. They were all sitting in the living room, waiting for me. My mom, my dad, my sister. They all turned to look at me as I walked in, their movements perfectly synchronized. Their faces wore expressions of calm, loving concern, but their passengers were agitated. The thing on my mom's cheek was pulsing rapidly. The fungal mass on my dad's chest was flared, its central orifice slightly open. My sister's translucent parasite was shimmering, its color shifting from clear to a milky, opaque white. Honey, you were gone a long time, my mom said, her voice smooth as silk. We were worried. I just needed some air, I said, my voice shaking. I started to back away towards the stairs. Your eyes look strained, my dad rumbled, standing up. The tube on his chest seemed to swell. You're not adjusting well. The doctor called while you were out. He said he forgot to give you these. He held up a small, clear bottle with a dropper. An eyedropper. He said the doctor's name, my doctor, the one who was supposedly in another country. My mom took the bottle from him and approached me. He said these are special drops. Much stronger. They'll help with the sensitivity. They'll make everything easier to look at. She unscrewed the cap. As she did, I saw it. The milky white fluid in the bottle wasn't medicine. I watched as a thin, viscous glob of the same substance secreted from a tiny pore on the parasite clinging to her face, dripping down her cheek. She was trying to get me to put a piece of it in my eye, to blind me again. "No," I whispered, backing up the stairs. "No, stay away from me." Their smiles didn't falter, but their eyes went cold and glassy. "Don't be difficult, son," my dad said, starting up the stairs after me, my mom and sister following close behind. "We just want to help you. We love you," my sister chimed in, her voice a flat monotone. The parasite on her head rippled, and two new, smaller tendrils unfurled from near her temples, tipped with sharp-looking barbs. I turned and sprinted to my room, slamming the door and locking it just as they reached the top of the stairs. I heard the doorknob jiggle, then a soft, polite knock. "Sweetie, open the door," my mom's voice called. I scrambled to push my desk, my dresser, anything heavy, in front of the door. The wood groaned under the weight. They tried for another hour, their voices never changing from that placid, loving tone. They offered me food, a special bowl of stew, they said, full of nutrients to help my eyes heal. I imagined the writhing larvae inside, designed to grow in my gut and rebuild the veil from the inside out. I refused. Then the knocking stopped. For a while there was silence. I thought, prayed, that they had given up. But then the new sounds began. Underneath the floorboards and through the door, I can hear them. The soft, wet thud of my father's host body pressing against the door. But it's not a human sound. It's the sound of the hard, fungal shell on his chest bumping against the wood. And the clicking, a low, constant, chittering sound. It's the sound of their real voices, the parasites communicating with each other. A series of sharp, wet clicks and low, guttural pops. I even felt it's hungry. My mom just started talking again. Her voice is as sweet as ever, dripping with hope.